Front Row MMA here at FCC 7 with the winner of his fight, Javonne Morrison. It's the second time we've had the pleasure of watching you fight. Once again, candidate for Fight of the Night. How pleased are you with the performance?
I'm very pleased. You know, after my last performance with Bandada, I realised I done the weight cut wrong. I rehydrated very quickly. I felt a little bit lethargic, but you know, I came in and I had to put that past me and put on a good fight. I always aim to put on a good fight and please the fans. It's really what I like to do, just be a bit of a showman, really.
I gotta say, this was a fight of, you know, he was trying to use his reach, he was trying to use his length a bit, but your counter-striking in the first round was really on point. Did you feel that was the difference in the first?
Yeah, I felt it was a difference. The last time out with Daden, I realised that he was countering me a lot. I was cocking my hand back to try and throw big shots. I done a few of that, I done a bit of that today, like I could say, but not as much as I did then, and he was a lot sharper and kept on catching me, so I worked on just getting a shot off really quick, not having to cock back and basically being, you know, working on the back foot and still going forward a lot. So
it seemed to me that you were starting to get frustrated a little in the third. There was a little bit of verbal. Can you tell us what was said and why?
Yeah, it was. He backed off a little bit, and I said, "Come on, man, you wanted this. You know, you couldn't cut weight. You knew 8 weeks before. You took the pee a little bit by taking a fight 4 weeks before I was supposed to fight you. So I was a bit annoyed because I know I wouldn't have had him at his best. Yeah. And I just kept on saying, you know, come forward, come on, let's go. So I was trying to goad him. I wanted to set up an overhand right, but he was a lot smarter than what I was anticipating.
It did seem again that your counter left and your counter right all night was landing, but also in the third you mixed it up and you used some grappling against the cage. You worked for the takedowns. You know, it was an all-round MMA performance. Again, where do you see the next evolution of your game?
I want to, like I said before, and I've always said it, I want to be able to take the fight anywhere I can when I'm inside the cage. I want to be able to be comfortable, because reaching at a higher level, I can't just be a good grappler or just a good striker. It's not going to work. There's going to be guys out there who's going to be a good all-rounder. So my aim is to be comfortable with all aspects of my game, so I can have a mad scramble or, you know, take it standing up on the ground.
You know, one of the things I might get accused of is the fact that I tend to look at the positives as opposed to negatives. But again, when we look at performances like yours, we saw you at FCC 6. We've seen you here again. I mean, what's the nickname? Because it should be exciting. I mean, do you take a backward step ever?
I don't know. Not that I never took a backward step. There's quite a few times where guys have had me rocked in my fight, and the best way I realised to that is just to move forward. Because when you're on the back foot, let's face it, a lot of guys, they get on the back foot and that's it. That's the end of them.
You're in an ideal weight class at the moment to move up ranks quickly. The 125ers, the lighter weight guys, especially at the higher levels, they still haven't filled in their rosters. You look, is pro, you know, I probably asked this last time, you've now come in and put a performance that you're happy with. How long before you're expecting to go pro?
You know, we spoke to Ozzy about this. I know Ozzy's advised me on the best routes to take and what to do, and I'm comfortable with that. You know, I want to, like I've always mentioned to him before I step up in the professional ranks, I want to be comfortable within my game. I want to know that any trouble that I get into, I'm able to get myself out, I'm able to survive, and that's the main thing. You know, so I like to put on performances like this. I've worked on that for, you know, the past 6-7 weeks. So I've worked on that style of movement and the striking, and I've worked on the grappling. So as long as I get to, you know, get comfortable, you know, maybe next year you'll...
Well, you know, to a layman like I'm not a fighter, I'm a fan more than anything else, but your footwork was really on point today, and your head movement. Again, is that where you've been doing the work?
Yeah, it was. I realised that I got caught in the Bandada. I keep referring to the Bandada fight, but that was the only fight that I really had as a proper fight. I had really quick finishes, and you know, like I came here, I finished in the 54 seconds, my first fight. My second fight with Didden, that was actually the best fight that I'd ever had, and now I've topped it with a better performance. So, you know, I owe a lot to that fight. Actually, it opened my eyes up, and I had a tunnel vision.
Well, see, a lot of fighters will say, and again, it's a kind of cheesy, they'll say that we learn more from a loss and we get better. It seems to me that adage held true here.
It definitely did. You know, I went back to, before I even got back to the gym, I walked out after the fight, and I said to Ozzy, you know, Ozzy said, look, you know, his footwork was on point. He had that awkward style. He said, and he caught you off guard. And I really realised it put me off. So I tried to do that a lot with my training partners, and I had to get my fitness up in order to do that. So I've had to really work on my fitness.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming to see us just minutes after a war like that. Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Anybody you'd like to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Team Monkey Nutrition, Chris Simon, Neil, all the guys, Connor. Ashley, David, you know, a big thank you to Ozzy because he's kind of babying me through since I've always been with him for MMA. I've not gone anywhere else. I'd like to thank my mum for coming to see me for the first time. So, Mum, thank you very much. It's a good job I didn't have a war like last time. So I should want to come again. Thank my girlfriend for supporting me, all my family and the friends that are here, my dad at home, my little brothers, everyone that's, you know, because everyone's positive. And I want to thank a big thank you to Naz as well. You know, Naz is fixed me up for my past 2 fights, not this one, my past 2 fights. I've had injuries where I've had to take, I had 2 weeks off before the day of the fight. I popped my shoulder out. He fixed me sorry.
That's okay.
He fixed me. The doctors at the hospital told me I shouldn't be doing anything at all for like 3 to 4 weeks. He fixed me in 2 weeks and I managed to fight. So, you know, a big thank you to him.
Javonne, it's always a pleasure to watch you fight. I'm sorry if I've been...
No, it's all right. I just had a lot to say. I'm sorry.
It's always a pleasure to watch. We've seen you twice, and I can't wait to see you again. A great performance, and who knows, maybe the coveted front row MMA fight of the night again.
Yeah, definitely. And a big thank you to all the guys at the FCC, Adam, Tay, Lauren, Jamie, everyone. I'm just missing people's names, but everyone, thank you very much. And you know what? A big thank you to Hammer as well for taking the fight again. And I apologise again to Randolph and Sean there. But yeah, massive thank you guys. Cheers.
Well, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. Javonne. Sure. Thank you.